You know what's sad? Finding out a show is not only change, but change it into something unrecognizable. And then when you look at the reason why, you start peering behind the curtain, you find that it's soapbox rants and prayers at the altar of progressivism. It isn't trying to be something more or better. It's even sadder. When you bring this stuff up and the people behind it, they don't listen or they don't keep their yabs shut. No, what they do is they respond and they tell you, hey, I don't really care. So hey there. So today we are returning to that wonderful world of Doctor Who. And BBC recently, well, they did the sadder part. They decided that they would respond. They've done this a couple of times too, as people have complained repeatedly about the newest iterations of Doctor Who. And those ratings, yeah, they continue that downhill slide. Here we have TV Zone, which is at TV Zone on Twitter, talking about the ratings for last night's hashtag Doctor Who finale, episode 10. Now, of course, this was March the 2nd here, and that averaged 3.78 million viewers from 6:50 p.m. on BBC One. Now, a few things that you probably notice right off the bat before we hit that episode 10 rating. You'll see, episode 1 to episode 10, you drop off over 1 million viewers. That kind of hit. How do you sustain a show? Well, you get taxpayers to pay for it. But also, if you're talking about interest, you normally will see some type of drop-off, but you see renewed interest in the end if it's going to be a good show, because people will want to come in, they'll want to see what's going on. With this, you see the second worst rated of the season, coming in just barely above number 9. And we think about the actual limits here, like what this means, it gets even worse. Here, as reported by Bounding Into Comics, whom you should check out, by the way, they do a great job with this stuff. That episode, The Timeless Child, its overnight figures, which clocked in at that 3.78 million, made it the 49th most watched show in the United Kingdom of the week it aired. If you think about that, 49th of the week, man, that isn't an impressive stat at all. Well, at least you made it into the top 50 with your finale. Good luck carrying forward to the next year. Not only that, but a note from episode 1 to episode 10. We talked about those numbers. Think about it this way, though. They almost lost 25% or a quarter of their viewership between that time. Now, in the United States, wow. BBC America, it had definitely taken a beating. The ratings for the final, it clocked in at a 0.12 in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic, with total viewership, according to TV series finale, only clocking in at 374,000 viewers. Compare that to the premiere number 1 episode, where you have 790,000 viewers. That means that this show, between 1 and 10, it lost over 52% of its total viewership, and it did that in just 10 episodes. Man, congratulations. Congratulations indeed. Now, what's interesting in that is that the people that are showing up, yeah, many of them are not happy about what they're seeing. Sure, you've got critics out there that want to give this a back pat. They always do because, buzzwords and on. But if you look at the audience score here, when we're talking about 3,210 user ratings, this only clocks in at a 16%. Isn't that insane? Now, many fans, they voiced their absolute displeasure with this show. And again, remember, this is what BBC is going to be responding to. Now, HH writes, and read this in William Shatner's voice, "The cringe is real. You think it might not be as bad as you think, but it is. Good God, why? Why, man? Why?" Blake C. writes, "Completely retcons all 50 years of story and world building. Jodie Whittaker is a terrible doctor. She is bland, flat, and does not know how to act like the Doctor. She hasn't even really watched any of the previous seasons to get an idea on how the Doctor acts. The Doctor has clear mannerisms throughout all of his incarnations, and these are basically completely ignored throughout Whittaker's author's time as the Doctor. Now, of course, that stuff, it's not just on Jodie Whittaker there. It's also on Mr. Cinnabon, who basically told her, ignore all that stuff, we'll write it out. Timothy W. writes too, not real Doctor Who. What is this rubbish? Here's a few more of that 1.5%. Bruce L. writes, oh my God, this season was worse than season 11, and I didn't think that was possible. The writing is horrible, and the way the writers destroyed the last 55 years of Doctor Who history is disgusting. I, for one, will never watch this trash heap of crap. Now that tells you something there. They hung on through a season they thought was terrible. This is even worse. You lost them there. BBC should be listening. Katrina writes, crap. Us, the oldies, we made this show. We can break it. Wait, you've already done that without any help from us. That is exactly right. It's not your fault that it's messed up. It's their fault. And John T. writes, are you kidding with this finale? I thought the episode leading up to this were bad, but this is an absolute travesty. They ruined the entire history of the franchise. Now, BBC decides to be BBC, not answerable to anyone, and decides to say the following. Doctor Who is a beloved, long-running series, and we understand that some people will feel attached to a particular idea they have of the Doctor, or that they enjoy certain aspects of the program more than others. Opinions are strong, and this is indicative of the imaginative hold that Doctor Who has that so many people engage with on so many different levels. We wholeheartedly support the creative freedom of the writers, and we feel that creating an origin story is the staple of science fiction writing. Yeah, going in and basically answering the unanswered after 30 plus years, that's what you need to do, because it wasn't working until then. Continuing, what was written does not alter the flow of stories by the William Hartnell's brilliant Doctor onwards. It just adds new layers and possibilities to this ongoing series. Yep, by train wrecking everything. We have also received many positive reactions to the episode's cliffhanger. Really, never ever listen to critics. Continuing, there are still a lot of questions to be answered, and we hope that you will come back to join us and to see what happens. But we appreciate that it's impossible to please all of the viewers all of the time, and your feedback has been raised with the program's executive editor. You would think people just not watching, dropping all of those viewers, that would be a thing that you raise with the program's executive editor, but hey, I digress. As previously noted, BBC, this isn't the first time they've decided to go that route, where they say, hey, we hear ya, but nope, BBC Complaint Department, they had previously responded to complaints regarding Season 12's Can You Hear Me episode, and it goes a little like this. We never set out to upset our viewers with what we show, and this episode, it tackled some sensitive themes. The episode used dreams and nightmares to explore the inner lives of the companions. Thanks to that nightmare power, the companions were forced to confront their worst fears, many of which relate to the way traveling with the Doctor has changed their lives. When Graham opened up to the Doctor about his fear of his cancer returning, her response was never meant to be dismissive. The Doctor's friend was scared, and we see her struggling to deal with the severity of the situation. The intention of the scene was to acknowledge how hard it can be to deal with conversations on this subject. When faced with these situations, people don't always have the right words to say at the right time, and this can lead to feelings of guilt. By showing the Doctor struggling to find the right words, the intention was to sympathize with all of those who have found themselves in similar position. We hope this has helped to address your concern, but please be assured your feedback has been raised with the program's executive editor. I like that there. Basically, they tell us that they had a certain intention, but the actor, they can't convey that emotion. I mean, that's what they're getting across. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be dismissive. It was supposed to be awkward, but when you're dealing with cardboard, well, you try to make it flex. Rest assured, though, we're going to go out and and bring it up with that person that we always say we're going to forward it to the head of the line. Pinky promise. Definitely a pinky promise. And hey, if they want to ignore the fact that only critics like this, that everyone else is tuning out, that's their prerogative. But well, don't you find that interesting? Anyway, you tell me what you think about this. Ending this too, I want to say sincerely, I appreciate you showing up and making this stuff possible. Not enough people thank you for that, and well, I want to thank you for your time. I don't want to monopolize that time. Like I said, just want to thank you for it. And also, if you like this channel, you want to help it out, subscribe to it, share it, videos, all of that stuff. But anyhow, like I said, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you sincerely, and we'll be doing this again soon. Thanks.